Hold up, I am on my way. I'm in motion. Let's go to the ocean. Yeah, let's go outside. We can hang out on the beach without freezing.
Welcome to Crafty Beach. This is Julie. Today I have 20 lemon Dollar Tree DIYs for you. Most of these are brand new DIYs that I just made for my home for summer. So let's get started with the all new DIYs. Now my theme was Amalfi Coast, which is in Italy, which is known for their beautiful lemon decor and their coastal vibes as well. So I thought this would be perfect for me. I love lemons and I love coastal, of course. So my first DIY, I wanted to DIY something that would look like an old urn, something that you would find in Italy to hold my lemons on my table. So what I'm going to do is combine a couple of things, a plastic party bowl from the Dollar Tree and a candlestick. But of course this is blue. I need this to be white. So I am just painting it with some spray paint. I thought that would probably be the easiest way to do this. And this is like an ivory color of spray paint. I just propped it up on the candlestick to lift it up off the box that I'm using to paint it in so it doesn't stick or anything like that. But I tried to get a pretty good coat with one coat of the spray paint. I'm also going to be texturizing this because I want it to look like really kind of a handmade urn out of ceramic. So that is one side. I'm going to go ahead and flip it over here and paint the inside as well because, of course, I'm going to be filling it with lemons. You're going to be able to see inside it too. And just to finish it off, I'm going to do all of it. You don't have to do the entire bowl, but if you're doing spray paint like I am, it's just easier to do the entire bowl. So I just painted the inside as well with that ivory paint. And I think it's like an heirloom white is the shade of that spray paint. And I also spray painted the candlestick there while I had that on there just a little bit, even though it was pretty much the same color already. Then it's time to texturize it. This was actually pretty fun. So I just took some spackle from the Dollar Tree and I am just rubbing it on the outside of this because of course I don't want it to look cheap and plastic. I want it to look like ceramic, like an old urn, something that you would see on an Italian table. And so I am just rubbing this all over and texturizing it. Since this dries white, it's going to be fine because I was going for this white color anyway, so I won't have to paint it with another coat. And I had pretty good coverage there from the spray paint. And this gave it such a cool texture. I don't really need to do the bottom. I just do the little ridge there that you might be able to see from the bottom. And then I'm going to flip it over and texturize the inside too. So same thing, I just grab a little bit of that. Now, if you don't want to get all messy, you can definitely wear gloves for this part, but I just kind of got in there and grabbed a little bit at a time and just smoothed it on the inside of the bowl. This gave me such a fun texture and really this bowl has come really far. You cannot tell what it was before. And I just went ahead and did the entire thing for completeness. And I just made sure that the edges were done as well. And I wanted to be consistent with the candlestick that's going to be holding it up. This was already white, so that was half my battle. But if you can't find a white one, you could always paint these. And I just rubbed a little bit of that all over here too. I didn't texturize this as much, but I did texturize it a little bit so that it would be the same color and consistency as the bowl itself. Now, once I got all the spackle on there, I just dried it with my heat gun. It was actually pretty fast process to dry this. When I dried it, I would also kind of rub it a little bit if there was any extra pieces like poking out that were real jagged. If I just kind of rubbed that off, it made it look a little bit better. But I'm not going to smooth it out or anything like that. I do want it to look really rough like that. So I do the same thing here for the candle holder, and I think we're ready to put this together. So I'm just going to glue this here on the bottom. Since it is glass, I'm going to use a strong glue here. This is the Gorilla Glue Clear Grip, and I'm going to go around the outer edge where it's going to have the most contact with the plastic bowl. And I'm also going to pull a little bit of hot glue right here in the middle of my plastic bowl just for some short-term hold, but the other one's really going to make it a lot stronger. I just make sure that has some time to set up. And now we have a little urn. I think this is going to be perfect. This is just what I was wanting to display lemons on my table. So I was able to pick up 12 lemons at Dollar General for $5 and some greenery from the Dollar Tree. This is their garland. And I think the leaves are perfect for a lemon theme. So I had a partial garland that I used for something else. And so I use that first right there in the bottom, kind of give me a little bit of filler, but it also gives me a fun leaf decor. But I wanted the entire dozen of the lemons in here, so this was perfect. Then I'm going to take my second garland and I'm just going to pull the individual leaves off. They're attached two at a time, which is fine. And I just kind of spread those around my bowl, filling up any gaps or between the lemons or any gaps between the lemons and the pot that we DIY'd. And they do have lemons at Dollar Tree too that are larger, that are $1.25. Maybe they're more expensive now. I'm not sure. But I thought 12 for $5 at Dollar General was a great deal. And so this is what it looks like. It is the perfect centerpiece for my table, I think, for summer. You can see that great texture on our little DIY urn here. And I love it. The white color goes well with the lemon decor. And what I want to do is tie this in with like the tiles that you see in the Amalfi Coast with the Mediterranean blues and stuff like that. So that's what we will be using for the table runner. But if you've ever tried to make a table runner with Dollar Tree supplies, they don't have much, but they do have these. They have these in several different colors. I thought white would work perfectly, and it is the perfect length for my table. If I cut the little triangular parts here at the end, which I don't like anyway, off, this is going to be the perfect length to go end to end on my dining room table. So I just took it and measured it, and everything looks good. I did trim this end a little bit just because it wanted to fray a little bit. And what I want to do is turn this into those great tiles that you see with the blues and the whites. And I was able to find this foil backsplash wall sticker at the kitchen aisle at Dollar Tree. It was right next to these table runners. And I was like, oh, this is perfect. It's peel and stick. It's washable. This is going to be a perfect table runner. So I just need to figure out how to put this together. I think 2 tiles is all that's going to fit because I don't want to do like a half a tile. There's 3 wide on this, and it's just like a big foil sticker. I've never DIY'd with this before, and I was really excited to find this. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and cut 1 row off, just cutting where the so-called tiles come together. And I want to cut this as closely to those tiles as I can all the way around so I don't have like a white border around them. Like the edge here has a white border, but you can kind of see, at least on some of them, where that should be. So I just cut a straight line there. And I want to leave a little bit on one end for an overlap because it's going to take 2 of these 2 rows like this to make the entire table runner. So 3 items to make a table runner from the Dollar Tree is not bad. I found that the table runner was $1.75, I believe, but not the foil backsplash. The pricing at Dollar Tree has me so confused. I gave it a quick press just to make things easier. And as you can see, it is a little bit wider than we need, but that's okay because if I get this on there crooked a little bit, I can always just cut it down to size perfectly. So what I'm going to do is just peel and stick. I just opened up a little bit here at a time, and I'm going to line that up to the end of our table runner and just simply stick it to the fabric. So easy. This was so much easier than what I was planning on doing. So my last minute Dollar Tree run paid off for me to be able to find this backsplash. And you have time to like pull it up if you don't get it on there right. If you find that you have wrinkles where you don't want them, you can peel it up, put it back down. It did have lots of folds in it from being folded up like this, but I don't know if this would hold up to heat, so I'm not going to take any chances and try to iron it. I'm just going to try to get it as smooth as I can. And I just peel off the lining for the entire first piece, attaching that to it. And I'm going to go ahead and open another package because I need 2 rows. I'm going to try to repeat that same pattern. So I'm going to cut the tiles to look exactly like I cut them before by cutting one row off, and I'm even going to have the pattern try to continue on the same as far as the blue and the white tiles. And these really do look like those beautiful tiles that they use over in Italy. The Amalfi Coast is famous for this look, and I love the looks of blue with lemon decor. I think it really makes the lemons pop, and it's really pretty. So I went ahead and cut off the borders of this one as well, just like we did before. And I have a piece identical to the first one. And I had left a little bit of plastic on this end, the white, so I could overlap it slightly. And that's what we're going to do. I try to get it lined up well too, so that my line is straight. It continues the same straight line as before. And as you can see, I'm kind of centering it on that table runner. So I'll have a little bit of fabric on each side that I will need to trim off once I get all of the sticker attached. I love the material this is made out of. I guess it's really easy probably to wash if you had it on a backsplash. And so it's going to be great for messy eaters in my home that get food on this, because I'll be able to wipe it right off with a sponge. So perfect. I'm not going to seal it or anything. I really don't need to do anything. The only thing I need to do is cut off the excess material. So I'm just trying to cut it as close as I can to the tile, so that you won't be able to see any of this material, because this definitely doesn't really go with my theme. And I just do that all the way around, just a little strip. And I think that too wide is plenty wide enough for a table runner. My table is not huge. And I'm also going to show you how I do a complete tablescape for summer with this lemon theme. So I already have the centerpiece that we made the lemons in the urn. This is the table runner. I'm going to show you how to do place settings and everything like that as well. I just finished trimming all of this excess material up, and this is it. We have a table runner. It is exactly what I wanted. I didn't know if I'd be able to pull this off with supplies from the Dollar Tree, but look how gorgeous it looks on my blue table. I think that's so fun. And I just put the centerpiece right here in the middle. It looks a little lonely though, so we are going to DIY some other things to decorate that space as well. But first, if you're enjoying today's video, be sure to hit that like button. It really helps. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Okay, for greenery, I'm going to use more of this garland from the Dollar Tree. I have two packages here, and what I did was just removed the wire from both of them. I don't really need it. It's going to kind of get in the way, and I just want the greenery to be loose like that, tied together, and I can string that down the table runner, and it's going to go well with the greenery in our lemon urn. So I cut the little round circles here off the end, just because those aren't very attractive, and I did one on each side of the centerpiece, and it was the perfect length, kind of just letting it take its natural shape down the entire table just like this. And I love the greenery. I think it's really fun. The next item that I want to use for this is candles. I always love candles on my table, so I picked up some of these Glass Votive candles from the Dollar Tree. I thought I could do two on each side along that table runner, and it would be really pretty, especially when we light these. My son always gets a kick out of candlelight dinners, and so he will enjoy these, I'm sure. I put two on each side here, just putting it in with the greenery. And this is what it's looking like so far. I love it. I love the colors. So bright and cheerful for summer. The next item I'm going to use is a little lemon pick that I got at Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to cut the individual lemons off. You could also use the ones from Dollar General too if you can't find any at Dollar Tree. And I just want the lemons themselves, so I am going to kind of pull out the stems up from them and just use 3 lemons. I think that will be fine. I'll do one like it kind of fell out of the urn, and the other 2 on each side, just a little bit in the greenery, and you could really use as many of those as you want. As you can see, they're a little bit smaller size than the ones that we used that are in the bowl, and the ones from the Dollar Tree, the big ones, are even larger. And this is what it's looking like so far. I think it's so pretty. Now for a table setting, I'm going to use one of these like seagrass mats from Dollar General. I think these were $3. And I'm going to combine that with one of the blue chargers from Dollar Tree. I just got this at Dollar Tree. I think these are so cool. And the natural textures of that placemat are perfect for this theme. And then for a plate, I'm just going to use one of my Rae Dunn plates. You could always use the lemon plates from the Dollar Tree too if you're lucky enough to find them. I could not find any. I could only find the bowls at my store. And for napkins, you have a couple of different options. You could use the paper napkins from the Dollar Tree. You could put it on there just like that. You could open it up halfway and do like a lemon slice like that. You could even open it up all the way and cover your plate completely if you wanted to. But that's a fun way to use those napkins. I wanted to try to do some cloth napkins just because I thought it would look a little bit better. And I found these beautiful cloth napkins at Dollar Tree. You get 2 of them in a package, and I think they're really high end for Dollar Tree napkins. They do have some pesky tags in here. I'm going to trim that off. They do have care instructions on there, but I don't really want them to get in the way. And I'm going to make some really simple lemon napkin rings using the wood bead garland from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to leave a little bit of the wood beads on there like that and estimate about how large I want it to be. I cut off a few extra there on the wood bead so I have enough twine to tie this, and I just tie that into a knot, giving me a super simple napkin ring. Isn't that so beautiful? I love these things from the Dollar Tree. They have them in all different kinds of fruit for summer, and of course I had to get them all. Now my napkin was a little wrinkly, and so I just gave it a quick iron there with my heat press, and then I just pinch it right in the middle. We're going to do a very simple fold here, and I'm going to put this on upside down because that's the way that I'm going to want to lay it on my plates. And I just pull the little napkin ring up where the lemon comes down in front. Something really easy, just a really simple fold, if you can even call it that. And I want to do that and lay these actually on my plates. I'm not going to set my kitchen table with silverware, but I did want to do napkins. And so let me show you what this looks like. I think that that napkin material goes really well with those placemats that I got at Dollar General with the natural materials. It's not really bright, but the lemon itself is really bright and it goes really nicely with those blue chargers, I think. And I think it would be really cute too if you had the lemon plates from the Dollar Tree to do something like this as well. So this is one place setting on my table. And I am going to go ahead and do 3 more of these. So the entire table will be set with this beautiful tablescape. And this is how it turned out. I think it's really pretty and festive and fun for summer. And I really love the pops of color. Now I wanted to do some more DIYs for my kitchen area, so I'm going to be using one of the cutting boards from the Dollar Tree, the round one. These are 8 inches and they are made out of glass. I'm just going to pop the little feet off of these, making sure to leave the adhesive on them so I can reattach them later. And I designed a free printable I will link down in the description of today's video of a lemon that is exactly 8 inches. So if you have a printer, you should be able to print this out on a regular sheet of paper, no problem. I used regular paper for this, even though I don't normally, just because sometimes I like to use these for hot plates too, and I know the cardstock wouldn't hold up as well as the paper for this. So I'm going to put Mod Podge here all over the bottom of the little cutting board. It is smooth here on the bottom, so this part's easy. And I just used one of those little sponge stencil daubers from the Dollar Tree to give me a great look with no brush strokes, because the brush strokes do show with glass and Mod Podge. And I lay my lemon printable right on top there. Oh, that looks so cool. It gives you that cool look that lemons actually have. And then I remembered that I do have some dishwasher safe Mod Podge that I was able to get at Dollar Tree. So I'm going to use that to seal it. That way I'll be able to clean it a little bit better. And the only thing with that is that you do have to let it cure for a while if you're especially going to put it in a dishwasher or something like that. And I just gave it a quick sand here to make sure I didn't have any paper around the edges that might be hanging over. I had done a pretty good job at that. That really cleaned things up too. Then I took that dishwasher safe Mod Podge and I'm just going to go all over the back of this as well. And hopefully this will really make it a lot more durable. I noticed this Mod Podge was a lot thicker than the regular Mod Podge that you use from the Dollar Tree. It says to wait a couple hours between coats on this. And what I'm going to do is let all that dry, and then I came back in and put the little feet back on. They still have the little stickies on there. And we have another lemon DIY. This is so cute. As you can see, it has this great shine to it. And this is going to be a little fun touch of summer for my kitchen that's going to go well with my kitchen table. Here's a little close up of how this little cutting board turned out. I don't really use these for cutting boards much. I think I use them for hot plates a little bit more. But either or, I think they would work for both. And again, I will include the link to the free printable down below if you would like to recreate. Just print it out at 100% and it should be the perfect size for the Dollar Tree round little cutting board. Now for the next DIY, I'm going to use one of the lemon bowls from the Dollar Tree and this beautiful glass candlestick that I got at Dollar Tree the other day. I think I can combine those. If I paint the candlestick to look like white, like the bowl, that's going to be the perfect pedestal to lift this up to make a little planter. So I'm going to use that same color that we used before on the centerpiece. I believe it's heirloom white. And I'm going to simply spray the candlestick. It almost looks like a milk glass when you paint it. I was really impressed with how this turned out. Then I let that dry and I'm just going to attach it to the bottom of the lemon bowl. My Dollar Tree had tons of lemon bowls. They didn't have any of the plates, but they had plenty of the bowls. So this is a fun DIY with that. I'm going to use the Gorilla Glue clear grip there on the outside and then follow that up with some hot glue here on the inside. Trying not to mix my two glues together, but that's going to work well for glass to ceramic. And I just glue that right there on the bottom. It is kind of a smaller version of the urn we made before. I love the fact that it has these beautiful lemons on the outside of it. So it's going to make the perfect little planter that we can make a DIY for my shelf in my dining area. I'm going to take some of the Dollar Tree foam and just attach it with a dot of hot glue so it doesn't move around too much. And what I want to do is fill this up with greenery. And I'm going to use that same garland that we used before for the centerpiece. And this time what I'm going to do is just cut the leaves into little stems that I can place down into the foam. So I just leave a little stem on them, just enough to be able to place them down in it. This foam from the Dollar Tree is not super soft. It's not that kind of foam. So I do have to kind of end up switching up and using like a little screwdriver to poke some holes in there first, and that made it a lot easier to add the greenery. And I want it to be super full, so I'm going to use an entire package of the garland and filling it up with greenery. And you could really use any kind of greenery you have, but I like the shape of these leaves. I think it's pretty similar to what you would see on a lemon tree, so I think it's going to go well for this theme. And we're going to be adding lemons and flowers to this as well. But I don't want you to be able to see the foam. So I do take a little bit of reindeer moss and just kind of scatter that around inside anywhere where I think you might be able to see some foam before we add everything else. Now, lemon tree has white flowers on there, and there's white flowers on the lemon bowl itself. So I'm going to be using a couple things. I'm going to be adding some white baby's breath from the Dollar Tree to it and some of their lemon, one of their lemon picks. I'm going to cut those into individual pieces. And these white flowers are a little different. They don't have yellow centers, but they're the perfect scale for these flowers. So I think this is going to work. I'm just going to use one package and just kind of scatter those around in the greenery. And it's a nice, white color to go with that pop of green with all of the leaves. And of course, the pop of yellow with the lemon picks. So I just kind of scatter those around. I try not to go too high with those. And then I'm going to be using some of the Dollar Tree fruit picks. I have a couple here that I've used for other DIYs, and so I have some left over. I'm just going to use some wire cutters and cut them down to size. Basically, I just want little picks that I can also put into the foam. And they're pretty sturdy, so they're pretty easy to place down in there. But I just have to have enough of a stem on there to do that. If you just have lemons and you don't have the picks like this, you could always add some Dollar Tree skewers to the back of that. Anything that you can poke it down inside the foam. This one I had to replace to make it long enough, but no problem at all. And I'm not going to add those leaves just because they would be a little bit different than the ones that we used. And I want to add an odd number. So I think 3 is perfect. And just kind of arrange those what I think looks best. I think this turned out so cute. It was so easy to make with items from the Dollar Tree. And let me show you how our little lemon planter turned out. I'm going to use this on the in the shelves next in the cabinet next to my kitchen table, so this is going to go well with the theme. I think this would also be really cute like on a kitchen counter. It's just the right scale for that, and just some lemon fun for summer for your kitchen or your home. Now, the next DIY, I want to make a couple signs to go in the cabinet next to my dining table. And I want one of them to look like the beautiful tiles with the Mediterranean blue, but I also want to make a lemon sign too. So I have these scrap pieces now of the tile from making the table runner. So this is going to be perfect for these Dollar Tree signs. As you can see, it's just the right size. So I can have one tile in the front, and I can cut off a half a tile here on both sides to wrap that around. And then I'll just have to do individual pieces for the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that down to size now too. Just cutting a straight line and cutting enough. I want it to be longer than I need, and that way I can get a perfect cut and peel and stick. And even on these cheap Dollar Tree signs like that, if you don't get them on there right the first time, it's really easy to pick them up and rearrange them so you don't get any wrinkles. I was really impressed with this material. And then I just sand off the excess material. So I'm going to do the same thing here for the other side, lining up my straight edge here to the front of the sign. And I'm going to be using 2 different signs. It doesn't really matter what they are because we're going to be covering them. And as you can see, this foil is not see-through, so you're not able to see any of the design of the flowers or anything through that. So that made this even easier, the fact that I didn't have to paint anything first. Now for the remaining sides here, I'm just going to go ahead and center the front piece on there and wrap that around. So this sign itself will look like one of those beautiful Italian tiles. Really takes me back. It's been a while since I've been to Italy. My husband and I went there for our honeymoon. So that was in 2002. So I think I'm due for an Italian vacation. What do you guys think? Have you guys ever been to Italy? You'll have to let me know down in the comments below. It's so beautiful there. I love it. And this is how our first sign turned out. I want to make a couple of these the same size so I can kind of display them together. This gives me that great tile, and it's going to tie it in with my table runner. So I absolutely love that. And I think these designs are really pretty, and that was such an easy DIY to make. Now for the second sign that I'm going to display with it, I have another Dollar Tree sign, but this time I'm going to use some of the removable wallpaper from the Dollar Tree that looks like whiteboards. And that's basically, I just need something to cover up the sign and to be kind of a neutral background. And I think the wood will look fine for that. So I'm just going to sketch out like a strip of this that I can use to cover everything. So I just lay the sign here on the back and using a pencil, trying to see how wide it is. And just like before, I can have a strip that can go around at least 3 sides. And I am cutting it on this side because that's where the little peel and stick part is. And I'm going to cut that part down relatively to size. I want it to be a little bit bigger so I can get that perfect cut. And then I'm just going to attach it just kind of like we did the tile one. I just center that on there, smoothing that out. And that is nice and thick too. It covered up that bee design that was on that sign. And then I just sand the edges to tear that off and get a perfect cut. The remaining piece is enough to cover both sides. So I'm just going to cut this down. I probably should have cut that a little straighter because I do need a straight edge. So I tried harder on that one. And now I have 2 little pieces here that we can attach to the sign. And there are like individual boards on this. I'm going to be decoupaging one of those lemon napkins from the Dollar Tree on here, but I don't mind the fact that you can see the wood through the lemon. I actually kind of like how it turns out. So I'm covering everything with the white boards, and I think that looks pretty good. So this is how I'm going to attach the lemon napkin. So I really only need a fourth of it. I don't need the whole thing. And I love decoupaging with these fruit napkins from the Dollar Tree. I've made really cute things with the watermelon ones as well. Really fun to DIY with. I have make sure that it's only one layer. It's a 2-layer napkin, so I just peel that off after I cut it down into quarters. And it's a little bit larger than what I need, but it's pretty close to the right size. So I'm going to do a very thin coat of Mod Podge here all over the sign because I don't want it to wrinkle, and kind of lay this on top of it, smoothing that out, making sure my fingers are dry so I don't tear that napkin. It can be a little fragile. And I did kind of wrap it around the edges there where I could, but the other two edges, once that dries, I just sanded that with a sanding block to cut that off there on the corner of my sign. And this was such an easy way to DIY a little lemon sign. I think it turned out really cute. I'm going to display mine together like this, the lemon, the tile, perfect for Amalfi Coast and perfect for my theme. So let me give you a little close up of how the little lemon sign turned out. As you can see, that wood grain through the lemon really doesn't take away from it. I think that makes it look pretty cool. I like that look because the napkin, of course, is very thin, using Mod Podge to decoupage that on. But I think it turned out really sweet. So easy for sure. And let me show you how they look together. I think they're so sweet. Now for the next DIY, I wanted to make a sign for my kitchen. I'm going to use one of their wood rounds and one of their wood squares, and we're going to put them all together. Now the wood round is almost the perfect size for one of those lemon napkins. I don't want this outer sign to have holes in it, so I did use a little spackle to fill those up because I want this to be a complete lemon. So I'm going to be doing decoupage with the lemon napkins, but this time I'm going to be using the entire lemon. And so I just open it up, use a little painter's tape to help me get that second layer off, and just peel that off. Now I'm going to attach this with Mod Podge. I put Mod Podge all over the wood round, fairly thin. And I do get a little bit of wrinkling with this, but I don't really mind. I think it actually kind of provided a little bit more character. Maybe if I would have ironed the napkin first, it might have been a little bit easier not to get any. But I just kind of lay that down as quickly as I can on there and try to smooth it out with a dry paper towel. Again, I want to try not to tear the napkin at all. And as you can see, it's a little bit larger than the wood round from the Dollar Tree. So most of the lemon rind is going to be removed when I sand off the excess paper. And I'm going to show you how I go about fixing that because I do want it to have a little bit of a lemon rind on there. I just go around with my sanding sponge and cut that off all the way around. And I'm going to do a little bit of touch up here around the edges where I think it might need a little bit more. I think I might have used a little bit too much Mod Podge because, as you can see, the napkin really wanted to start bubbling up on me. So I definitely need to make sure this is really dry before I go over it. But I just felt like there were some areas that needed a little Mod Podge on top too. And so I just tried to do that as carefully as I could. And my lemon print is a little off. I don't know if the napkin's like that or if it's the way that I laid it on there. As you can see, it's a little bit lopsided. And I also want to add the rind on there. So I'm just going to fix both of those with paint. I just take some bright yellow acrylic paint and a tiny paintbrush from the Dollar Tree. And as you can see, I am just painting that on, kind of painting towards myself, making little brush marks all the way around. So it's really kind of jagged like a lemon rind would be. And it's going to give me that pop of yellow and really finish off the lemon since I did cut off all of the rind there. And I just do that all the way around. Now I'm going to be layering two signs together. So the lemon sign is going to be on the front, and on the back, I'm going to want it to look like those beautiful Mediterranean blue tiles. So I have a plan for that as well. Now the yellow rind almost touches the inside of the yellow lemon there. So I did go in with a little bit of white just to make a little bit of a gap there, just because that was bothering me. And I do end up sealing that in a minute with some Mod Podge so the paint kind of blends in with the napkin a little bit more. But I'm happier with it like that. And we can start on our back sign. This is a square sign from the Dollar Tree. Sometimes these are definitely more bowed than others. I'm going to try to iron it actually with my heat press, and it did seem to work a little bit. Now for the blue and white tile, I'm using one of these bags I got from the Dollar Tree, and I am just cutting the sides off. I just want a panel, and I've used this previously for other DIYs. So what I'm going to do is just cut a little panel like that that's going to be large enough to cover the entire sign. So I did iron both sides of that. It did seem to help. And I'm just going to lay this on the back of the Dollar Tree little tote bag and sketch that out with a pencil so I'll know where to cut that down to size. This material is like a glossy material. It's really easy to cut. And it's clean too because it's so sealed. It's like a glossy bag. And I just cut down into a square to cover the sign. Now, I wasn't sure how well Mod Podge would hold this because it's such a slippery material. So I wanted something a little stronger. So I'm going to use some Dollar Tree tacky glue for this and just make sure that I have a pretty good coat all over. Spreading that out with a sponge just so I have glue everywhere. And then I'm just going to lay this material right on top. You could also use the backsplash for this from the Dollar Tree. The colors are very similar. You could have individual tiles, but I thought this looked really pretty too, and it goes really well with the theme. I'm going to go ahead and poke some holes through that material where the holes in the board sign are because I am going to have a hanger on this one since I don't have a hanger on the lemon that we're going to attach to the front. And to be able to thread that through and make it easier, I just add a little hot glue to the ends of the hanger that came with the sign, and I'm going to tie it onto the back. I normally don't tie it onto the back, but I thought it might get into the way of the lemon, and so I don't want that to happen, so I just tie a simple hanger like that. And here is our pop of yellow with our lemon sign to go on front. So bright and cheerful. I just use hot glue on the back of my wood round lemon to attach that, and it fits perfectly. The signs, as you can see, are the same size, so that just works really well together. I love it. I think it's really pretty. And I am just going to seal this one little part here where I painted just to seal that to make that all the same sheen, I guess. And then for the ribbon for the top, I'm going to use some of the mesh ribbon from the Dollar Tree in white and just make a simple little faux bow here with 2 loops and 2 tails. And I'm going to attach that to the hanger with just some twine, really easy. No need to zip tie or anything. I just bunch this together and take a piece of twine and tie that off to the hanger right here in the middle. I chose the white mesh ribbon just because I thought it would go well with all of the white in the sign. And it's going to be a fun decorative bow, but it's not going to take away from the beauty, I think, of this project. And it looks great hanging next to my table in my kitchen. Just making sure that my bow is even here and that my tails are about the same length. And I think that's perfect. We have a little lemon sign. The colors are perfect. It really goes with my kitchen table and my theme. And this is what it looks like hanging in my dining room for summer. I love those napkins. So fun to be able to DIY with those. And it's nice and large too. It's larger than anything that I could print on my printer. But this is what it looks like next to my garage door there. I think it's so pretty. For the next DIY, I designed this printable of the Amalfi Coast and a lemon tree. And I'm going to use one of these signs from the Dollar Tree. This was from the Dollar Tree Plus, so it was $3, but I love the art shape. I thought this would be perfect to be looking out at the Amalfi Coast and pretending that I'm there with my lemon tree right there. Now, it has like a slight bevel here on the outer sides of the sign. I'm just going to paint that white before I go ahead and attach anything. And it is a big enough sign that I did have to make the design into 2 different pieces. And I will include the link to the printable for both of these below. If you had more of a rectangular sign, you could just use the one. But I had to try to continue the sky all the way up. So I'm going to add the sky kind of like upside down like this. And then I can layer this image down here. So pretty. I love that. The first one is the sky. I'm just going to go ahead and cut this down a little bit and cut it down to size. Now, I printed fill page. I couldn't do 100% because my printer doesn't print all the way to the edges, as you can see, but it came pretty close and it was definitely large enough to do the width of this. I just cut it down to size and then I kind of folded it there on that ridge so I could kind of cut that down to size with the arch window here. And I could see it just enough to be able to cut that down. And I'm going to go ahead and attach the sky piece first. I will have a slight overlap and some lines between my different printables, but I'll show you how I disguise that as well. I just do a nice thick coat of Mod Podge down. You can definitely do thicker coats when you're working with cardstock, which is what I printed both of these out on. The other great thing about Mod Podge, decoupage with cardstock is that you don't really have to wait for it to dry and you can seal over it. As you can see, I'm not getting any wrinkling or anything like that you would get with a thinner paper. Once I got that on and sealed, it's time to do my main image here. I'm just going to go around and cut the white border off of everything. And I'm going to have to get a little creative with how I cut the sky as well, because the sky has lots of different colors. So this looks pretty good. It is a little too wide. I'm going to cut off the excess here from the side that doesn't have the lemons and line that up like that. As you can see, there's definitely going to be a line here in my sky. I'm going to try to minimize it as much as possible. The first thing I did was just cut off the top leaf there because I did notice it was kind of cut off using two sheets of paper like this. And then I just kind of cut around those leaves and go down a little bit with my sky, but I don't want to interfere with like the mountainous coast there. I think that will work. And so this here at the bottom, the railing was a little longer too, so I trimmed that down too, and I really like the looks of that. That looks beautiful. Now, just like before, I'm just going to attach this cardstock with some Mod Podge there, just overlapping it slightly. I probably didn't need to overlap it as much as I did because you do get a little ridge there where I overlapped it. But what I'm going to do is go in and distress it, which is going to make it older and coastal, and it disguises the individual pieces of paper here and the ridge that I get on it as well. I just used Mod Podge to attach this sign down, smoothing it out, making sure I didn't get any bubbles, and giving it a quick dry. I can go over it immediately with a second coat of Mod Podge here on the cardstock to seal everything on this sign. Sealing it itself does help a little bit there with the gap between the paper, but the key to that I think is going to be distressing. I just used some white acrylic and a chunky brush, and I'm just distressing horizontally across the sign, wiping off any excess distressing with a baby wipe so I don't go too heavy, but I want a level of distressing that's going to hide the fact that I did have to use a couple sheets of paper to get that beautiful scene, but I don't want to take away too much of the bright blues. And this is how it turned out, our little Amalfi Coast scene for my kitchen. I have this hanging next to my dining table as well. And I think it turned out really cute. I love that scenery. And I will include the link to both of the free printables that I used to make this DIY down in the description of today's video. I love it. My kitchen is ready for summer. And let me show you how it looks hanging together with the other lemon sign that I made there for my dining area. Up next, I have more lemon DIYs I've done here on my channel. So we're going to start with a DIY lemon candle. I picked up a yellow candle from Dollar Tree, a yellow like glass candle holder. I even found Meyer lemon fragrance oil from Dollar Tree, and then from the summer section they have these really cute little lemon wood beads, and I thought that would make the perfect lid to make a lemon scented candle. So I wanted it to be yellow for lemons, of course, so I'm just going to melt down one of these tall glass candles from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to put it in a pot of water that had been boiling on my stove until it melts. And then I was able to retrieve the wick and the metal piece from the candle after it melted. I'm just going to secure it with a dot of hot glue just so I can center it in my candle. And then after all of my wax had melted, I'm just going to pour it in as full as I can get it. I don't want to overfill the container. And then I'm just going to pour in some of that Meyer lemon fragrance oil when it is nice and hot. Stir that up. I'm actually going to use just a little paintbrush to make sure my wick stays centered. And I let it sit for an hour or so and it hardened up nicely. I just cut the wick and cleaning up any excess wax from when I moved it to kind of set it aside to clean it up a little bit, but I think it turned out perfect. Now, the little wood lemon is just the right size for this candle holder to make a fun lid. When you're doing a scented candle, a lot of times they can lose the scent if they're open air like that, so it's always nice to have a lid. So I'm going to try to DIY one. It did have a hole in it from being part of the would-be garland, so I'm actually going to use that to my advantage and kind of make a little would-be tassel for it. And so I do that just by doing a little piece of twine, knotting it on the inside, and then using those wood beads that were from it to make just a tiny little wood bead, one that's going to fit the height of the candle. So I'm just going to string those on white and yellow, just like that, and knot it off here at the end. I could only fit about 5 beads on there, but I think that's a fun little touch, and I already have the hole in the lemon, so I might as well do something cute on the front of it like that. Then I also want to kind of make a ridge. I'm doing that with just some hot glue dots, just so the lid kind of stays in place and doesn't like slide around. And let that set up until it hardens. And as you can see, that kind of keeps the lid in place. I also thought that I should maybe use the tassel on there since I have it. And I thought that would look really cute next to the little wood beads that we have hanging on the lemon. It is a little bit too long, but that's no problem. It's easy enough to trim up to make it the right length for it. And it's got like a cute little yellow and white ribbon on there too. Really cute. So I'm just going to take a piece of twine and try to make it a little bit stiffer by putting a little hot glue there on the end. And then just trying to pry open the top of the ribbon so I can slide that in there. It was kind of difficult to get in there, so I just used a little screwdriver to help me guide it through, just so I have something to tie on to my little wood bead garland that we made here. So I just kind of wrap it around from the bottom, tie it off, flip it over, and tie it a couple more times to secure it. And I think the short wood beads and the tassel look really cute. Finish this off, make the candle look really decorative even when you're not burning it, and provides a nice functional little lid on there. So here it is, our little DIY lemon candle. Everything was from the Dollar Tree. It smells wonderful with that Meyer lemon scent in there when you are burning it. But look how cute it looks just on its own. This would be great in your kitchen. I'm actually going to DIY a tray that I'm going to display mine on. But I think it turned out really cute and it was really fun to make. I always love making candles. This is what it looks like lit up. If you're enjoying today's video, be sure to hit that like button. It always helps my videos do better here on YouTube. Okay, for the next one, we're going to make a little lemon floral arrangement. I picked up some lemon picks, a yellow vase, and some eucalyptus from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to show you how easy this is to put together. First, I designed an SVG. I will share that in the description, a free SVG for you of a simple lemon design, and I used my Cricut Joy Extra just to cut that out. I made sure that it would be one piece so I could just kind of use it as a sticker, which is what I'm going to do. It might be easier to use transfer paper for this, but I was like, I can just stick these on here, and so that's what I'm going to do. So as you can see, it's just a very simple lemon design. It's all one piece. I just cut it out on white vinyl, and I thought that'd be really cute because it would let the yellow glass from these milk jug vases shine through, make it look like a real lemon. So I made mine about 2¼ inches. I didn't want them to be too big, and I'm just going to kind of stagger them all over, just trying to carefully get them on there without any wrinkles if I can. That's where the paper probably would come in handy, but I was able to get them on there pretty well. I have room for another one back here. I might as well just go ahead and decorate the whole thing, but I think 4 is about all I had room for on there, but I think it turned out really cute. What do you guys think? I wanted to use those lemon picks just to make a little lemon floral arrangement, but I thought it needed more greenery, so I picked up some of this eucalyptus from the Dollar Tree. I really like the color of this one. It kind of gives me like a lamb's ear color, but I thought they'd be really cute. But I don't want you to be able to see the plastic stems from the Dollar Tree things inside the yellow clear vase. So I'm going to fill it up with some Dollar Tree sand. I chose the white sand just because I didn't want to distract away from the yellow color. I think it's really pretty. And so this is what it looks like, filled up with white sand. I just went all the way up to the neck of it. I'm going to leave the eucalyptus like all attached and just put that right in the center of the vase. And then we can use these cute little lemon picks from the Dollar Tree for the lemons. I noticed the leaves on them are really kind of cheap. So you might want to add more greenery to yours. I do like an odd number though, so I'm going to cut one lemon off of this one so I can have a total of 3 lemons. I just think it looks better when you're making an arrangement like this. And then just kind of arrange everything to my liking. It was really simple to put this together. I thought another fun touch would be to use some of the Dollar Tree lemon ribbon. What I'm going to do is just tie that around the neck of like the milk jug vase just to give another fun touch. I'm just going to tie it and like double knot it. No fancy bows or anything like this. Just a little touch of the lemon ribbon I thought would be cute and provide a fun little detail on there. So I don't want it to have too much of the ribbon left, so I'm going to kind of cut that down rather short just to provide a little bit of trim. And it was so easy to put this together. If you didn't have a Cricut, you could always paint the lemon shape on there. It's pretty easy to do with a white paint pen. And I'll show you, I'm going to DIY a lemon here in a minute, how easy that is to do. But this is how it turned out. I think it's really cute. It was so easy, and I'm really loving those colored milk jug vases from the Dollar Tree. I made a solar light out of the green one. I think they're really pretty, and this is how it turned out. Really fun to do. Now to display the cute candle and floral arrangement, I thought I would DIY a lemon tray. So I'm going to use one of these little Dollar Tree round signs that has the frame on it. Just removing the hanger from the back and giving it a quick sand. It was a little jagged around the edges, but I thought it looked like a lemon to me because it's got like the lemon rind, so we can do like a lemon slice. So just using my favorite paint pens, the Posca paint pens. I get those on Amazon. I should have those linked in my Amazon shop below this video. And I have so many colors of these now. I just love them. They work so well, as you can see. And I'm just going around, and I have the white frame on there, so making it yellow was super easy. Now I'm not going to make the tray itself yellow because I already have that yellow candle that we made and the yellow vase. So I think that would be too much yellow. I'm going to leave it just wood, just for a little variety in color, but I do want it to look like a lemon. So using my white Posca paint pen, I just go around the edges using the frame kind of as a guide, but I do want it to be thick enough that you can really see it. So I go around with a couple coats just to kind of thicken that up a little bit. And I'm going to show you how easy it is to just draw a lemon design on here. You can have as many sections as you want. I'm going to do kind of a simplified version, kind of like what we did on the vase. So I use like the middle line as a reference for my first line, and then crisscross here, just like a plus sign. We're going down the other direction. And then I'm going to fill in the gaps with 2 more lines. You can have as many sections as you want, but I just wanted it to be kind of simplified. You could use a ruler if you needed to, but it's pretty easy. Your lines don't have to be perfect. And then I'm like gonna make it look like the little sections of a lemon just by kind of filling in the gaps here at the corner with my white paint pen. It gives it that lemon slice vibe. Really trying to make the white around the edges look a little bit better. I go over it with just another coat of my paint pen and kind of touching up that middle line, but there it is, my lemon slice. Now to make it a tray, I have these leftover yellow wood beads from a wood bead garland that we're just going to use for feet. So I chose 5 of them. I'm going to kind of stagger them out, kind of like the shape of a star. And then just using hot glue. You could also use wood glue for this. if you have trouble making them stick. I am going to glue these all around. Not really measuring them, just kind of spacing them out by sight. And we have a simple little lemon tray. Now, I didn't really like the look of the outside of the frame. Some of it was white and some of it was brown, as you can see. So I just go over it with that same yellow paint pen. And I'm only painting that top frame of it just to make it match the yellow rind. Just because the rest of it, it's a little hard to paint that like MDF would to make it look good. But a very simple little lemon slice tray that's going to be perfect to display the items that we've already made in today's video. So let me give you a look of how this turned out. It was kind of hard to get a shot of the lemon design, but also the feet of the tray, which were so easy to make just with the wood beads. So you can kind of see how this sets up. I think I'm going to use this in my kitchen. I think it's going to look really cute in there for summer and just bring some refreshing lemons into my summer decor. But let me show you how it looks with everything we've DIY'd on it. I'm going to put the vase on it. I'm going to put the candle on it. And then I also have just one of the lemons from the Dollar Tree that I put on there with just some of the leftover greenery from the lemon pick. So this is how it all came together. Look how fun that looks. And you can see why I didn't paint the lemon yellow, because it would just be way too much yellow going on there. But with just one of the Dollar Tree lemons, I think this looks so pretty for summer. Okay, next up, we're going to make a fun summer lemon wreath. I picked up a 14-inch metal wreath from the Dollar Tree and some of these like green leaf leis they have this year in the summer section. I love them. And some zip ties from the hardware section. So using leis, it makes a really quick, easy wreath. So I thought this would be perfect. And so I just zip tie it on here. I find that one of the leis covers 1/4 of this size wreath form really well. So I'm going to need a total of 4. And it's kind of a quick trick Dollar Tree hack to make a green leaf wreath really easily. We're going to add different kinds of greenery for variety, because this is not like a traditional leaf that you would see with like lemons, but that's kind of the great thing about lemons. You can really mix all different kinds of leaves up. You can even do like a tropical like looking leaf like this, and it still looks really cute together. So I just wrapped it around a couple times, zip tied it to one of the crossbars like that, and it looks like about 1/4 of it, so a total of 4 will be perfect. Now I'm going to zip tie my next one on right here, and then do the same thing, just wrap it around a couple times, zip tie it again. Really couldn't be any easier. You can see how much great full greenery I'm getting on the wreath so far. And I love these leis this year. These are new. I've never seen these at Dollar Tree before. I use these a lot in my luau DIYs. If you haven't checked out the video, you should. They're so cool, and you can do so many different things with them. And so this is my third one. I just zip tie it to the kind of wherever I stop, the center section, any of those, but they do have like the little metal bars like separating sections, so you can kind of use those to your advantage. I'm going to use those when I go to attach to lemons. I'm going to attach one of the Dollar Tree lemons for every one of those crossbars, but I needed to get at least this layer of greenery done first, and then I could add the lemons and then add everything else. So here is the fourth and final one. If you don't really like the all green color that this has, they do have 2 different varieties of this one, if you can still find these. Like there's one that's like kind of 2 different shades of green to give it a little bit of variety, but I'm going to be adding more leaves to this, so I'm okay with it so far. And I think it's going to hold up really well outdoor on my front door. So these are the lemons that we're going to be using. We're going to use a total of 6. I don't really like using odd numbers, but there's 6 crossbars, and that's what I'm going to use to attach them. I just had to figure out a way to get them on there. I thought about zip ties, but I couldn't really make it work, so we're actually going to use just some hardware wire from the Dollar Tree. You could also use some floral wire. But to get it through the lemon, I'm going to use one of the giant needles from the sewing needles from Dollar Tree and just put my wire on the needle. Then I'm just going to feed that through just a section. It's kind of hard to go through the foam, but I'm trying to get it to go through there enough to keep it on. And so what I found to be the best was to use a pair of pliers to pull my needle through. And then I have a perfectly wired lemon. This is going to permanently attach it. It won't fall off. And I'm just looking for the crossbar. I can feed both my pieces of wire together. It's probably going to work easier for you to do it upside down. Just wire it, twist it, cut off your excess wire, and we have our first lemon. So I'm going to do that same thing with the rest of these lemons, just using the wire, the needle from the Dollar Tree, feeding it through there and wiring it to the frame. I'm also going to go in there with some more greenery that I found from Dollar Tree that kind of looks more like a lemon leaf, even if it is a really large lemon leaf. Sometimes the greenery choices from Dollar Tree, you can't find a lot of variety, especially depending like on the size of your Dollar Tree, what kind of greenery they're going to have. But I'm trying to do everything from the Dollar Tree just to make it easier. So I've got a couple of fun options we can add to it just to provide some different leaf shapes, because this is really tropical so far, as you can see. But just a little bit of stringing. I love this metal, this black wire from the hardware section from the Dollar Tree. It's thin enough that it's easy to cut, but you could also use the floral wire. Any kind of wire that you can find at Dollar Tree is going to work for this. I've had trouble finding this exact hardware wire for a while. It comes in a package of like black and red, I believe. But I don't know. Sometimes, Dollar Tree will have a product like this and then they have it all the time and then you just never see it. Kind of like the little tiny seashells that I use a lot. So that is 4. I have room for 2 more on the 2 crossbars, and they're kind of a large lemon to use on a wreath, but since this wreath form is so large, I think it's going to look really good. But if you wanted like a smaller lemon, you could always use those lemon picks from the Dollar Tree. And not all of my Dollar Trees carry the lemons or the lemon picks. Only my like largest store in town does. So you might need to shop around a few different Dollar Trees to be able to find your lemons. But I think it's a good deal. They are $1.25 a piece. You might be able to find a better price maybe online, but for something readily accessible from the Dollar Tree, I think it's a pretty good price. Now, these are the leaves I was talking about that kind of look like a large lemon leaf. So I'm going to go ahead and just take these off. They don't really come off with any stem when you pull them off. I noticed that there was like 4 of the light green and 2 of the dark green. I kind of like the light green better. It's a little bit smaller. So I'm going to kind of go around and attach those to the greenery that's already on the wreath and just between each lemon. So I just put a little hot glue on the back of the stem and just glue it to the greenery that's on there. I thought it would be kind of hard to wire on there without any stem. And I think for just this lightweight leaf on the leaves that are attached really well to the wreath form, I think they will stay in place. Each leaf I'm just kind of tilting a different way just to give it a little bit of variety. So I am going to need a second bundle of those to get 2 more of the light green leaves so they're all the same color. And again, I just hot glue those around, kind of nesting those in the greenery that is already on there. And I think this wreath is coming together really well. Now, I wanted to add a little bit of florals, but not too much. I wanted a little white flower. So I found these white baby's breath from Dollar Tree, and they're just a tiny white flower, really simple. Just to add a fun floral touch, but nothing too overpowering because we have those big lemons. So again, I just take off a sprig and use hot glue to attach it to the lei that we already had on there of all the leaves. And I'm going to do that all the way around. I'm going to try to do in between each lemon, even though I don't have a lot of room because I use those large leaves in between each one. I can kind of work around those, and I do want it to be kind of random as well. And they're pretty lightweight, so I think securing them with hot glue is going to work well. I've got the lei on the wreath form pretty tight, so it does a pretty good job of keeping the round shape. But as you can see, it's already looking really full and stuff, and it was so much easier than attaching all of that greenery separately. So it's kind of a Dollar Tree hack to make a really easy wreath is definitely to use the Dollar Tree leis. So I have that between each lemon. I do have a little bit of baby's breath left over. I picked up 2 of these, so I thought I might as well just cut some of them apart. And that way I can kind of have a random flower here or there just to kind of go with that floral theme. I am kind of working on the outside of the lemons, but it's easy enough. The ones that are attached, you can kind of move them around, fluff them out, make them look good, but I thought I would just add a little bit more of the flowers. I have them, so I might as well use them. And I think it provides another fun touch. If you had if you wanted a little bit more color besides the yellow lemons, you could also use some like the blueberries from Dollar Tree. I think that would look pretty. Kind of that royal blue goes really nicely with it. And then I have just some greenery left over here that I could use as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and take those off and glue those in place. It's kind of a different shape leaf, and I think that's going to look really good. This is the greenery that was on the baby's breath, so might as well use it instead of waste it, right? And I left them together as just 2 bundles. I glued them underneath each lemon to kind of look like lemon leaves. And then I'm going to go ahead and use as many as I have. They were a little frayed. Sometimes the fabric leaves like that from the Dollar Tree can get a little frayed, but I think they look pretty good. And it provides a different shape leaf, again, providing variety for the different kind of leaves that are on here. So it's not all just tropical with that lei, but that did provide a great base, and it provided a great base to be able to hot glue easily all of the things we've added to it. And so I just kind of fill that in with all of the greenery that I have. And there it is, our summer wreath with lemons. I think this is a great theme for a summer wreath. You can leave it up all summer long. And my front porch was a little bare after 4th of July, so I needed something fun and refreshing for summer. And I think this is going to look perfect. So as you can see, it's a nice large size wreath for the door. It's not any of the tiny ones that you might make with Dollar Tree supplies. And I think it turned out really fun and beautiful. And I really hope you enjoyed all of these festive lemon DIYs for summer. I really enjoyed putting these DIYs together for you. And don't forget to let me know which one was your favorite down in the comments below, or just come say hello. I love reading all of your comments. Don't forget to check out my second channel, Crafty Little Beach, for individual DIYs on your phone, and enjoy the final reveal.
Don't know how I can explain. 하루 종일 네 생각에 간절해 낯설어. 나 왜 이런 걸까? You're the cure to all my pains. 널 좋아하나 봐. 널 사랑하나 봐. 이제는 더 이상은 숨길 수 없잖아. 내일 더 줄 거야, 안아줄 거야. We're meant to be, you can't deny. 내일 더 다가갈 거야, 사랑해줄 거야. You're my sunshine after rain. 네가 좋아. 무지개 빈 하늘을 봐, 더 푸르른 하늘과 silver lining in the clouds. 바람결에 안아줄 거야. We're meant to be, you can't deny. 매일 더 다가갈 거야. 사랑해줄 거야. You're my sunshine after rain. 네가 좋아. 매일 더 아껴줄 거야. 안아줄 거야. We're meant to be, you can't deny. 매일 더 다가갈 거야. 사랑해줄 거야. You're my sunshine after rain. 네가 좋아. Open air, side by side we sway there in all the colors. Summer love, lonesome dove, folded on the lawn chair in all the colors. Summer love, remember when we were getting nowhere fast, when the garden won't stop giving back. Honeysuckle, fresh cut grass. I could really use some stuff like that. Talk to me.
Thank you so much for making it all the way to the end of today's Lemon DIY video. I'd also like to thank all of my YouTube members for supporting my channel. Thank you to Melinda Elizabeth, Jamie Job, Susan Edmonds, Janae Farrington, Pamelia Wren, Donna Schreiner, I Am Mojo Jojo, Marin Christensen, Adrian Brolt, Debbie Middleton, Donna Tanner, Kim Rogers, Maria Cruz Pagan, Pal Puppy Life, Renee Albanese, Lori Hollingsworth, Mindy Hupp, and Jenny. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate each and every one of you. If you would like to become a Crafty Beach Bum member, all you have to do is hit the join button next to today's video on your phone or your computer. You're going to get early ad-free access to my content here on YouTube, a badge next to your name when you comment down below, and a shout out in every video. And we would love to see your DIYs. Be sure to show them off in our private Facebook group. I have that linked in the description of today's video. We would love to see what you have been crafting, especially if you've made one of my DIYs. I always love that. Would you like more crafting inspiration? Be sure to check out one of these fun summer DIY videos right here. And until next time, happy crafting!